Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the post-match reaction for Leeds versus Everton. Leeds won, Everton no. So, this was very Everton-esque in all honesty. This is kind of typical of what Everton are like when it comes to the first games of the season. We're always misfiring. We're not at the pace that we should be. We seem to be a team that seems to go on a slow burn on the constant. But today, in all honesty, I think this game had 0-0 written all over it. Although it was a 1-0 loss to us, it felt like a 0-0 sort of game. There were opportunities on both sides of the field, but both teams were kind of soft in a way. What doesn't help is the fact that we have referees who decide to make decisions where when VAR should be used, they don't utilise it. And when VAR is used to its some nth degree, they decide to go with a decision that's questionable at best. I'll talk about that when it comes to the second half, though. But in the first half, Everton were very, very soft. Leeds were basically asking every single question of us, whether it be of the left, of the right, at the middle, of the front, or the back. They were asking every single question, and the main question was no. In the sense of, can we score here? Can we score here? Can we score here? Or can we score here? And the answer was no, 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 and no. That was mostly down to the fact that our defence was fairly rock solid. The only problem was we just weren't able to push out from there. We were trying to play from the back, and granted, it's better than just lofting it forwards and hoping for the best from Beto. But when you haven't got the pace, working from the back can be quite difficult, especially when you lack of pace and the lack of sort of, how can I put it, tricksy play. If you're able to leave a defender, well, not a defender, an attacker in the dust, so you're able to wrong side him and then get away to then push on, that's great. However, we don't seem to have that. Our two centre-backs at the moment are two typical rough, tough defenders. They're just your standard run-of-the-mill, rough and tough defenders, the kinds of guys who will get the ball and make sure you're not getting it off them because they've just basically put you on your ass. So in them situations, we're just going to run into this over and over again, where basically we'll stop the opposition progression, but we won't be able to progress ourselves. We'll reach essentially a stalemate almost, and that can work. But it also cannot. When we come up against someone like Man City or Arsenal or Liverpool, if we try and do that against them with their fast pace and skillful players, they'll accept it for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then from there they'll go, right, okay, if you're going to do that, this is what we're going to do. And they will basically cut the defence in half. So we can't be doing that. We need to try and find a new way around that. What I will agree with is we do need a right back. We need another left back. We need some pace on the right wing. We need a centre half as well. Idrissa Gana Gueye absolutely ran his legs off in the first half. He did everything he could to try and get that ball up and tried everything he can to mix it in with the top end of the field. He was basically doing what Drewsbury Hall wasn't doing in the first half, trying to intermingle with Beto, Iliman Ndiaye, Alcaraz, and try and push the ball up with them. Unfortunately, though, it just wasn't working. Now, the good thing is, come half-time, Moyes was able to get this past Drewsbury Hall. He was basically able to say, right, what I need you to do is this. And Drewsbury Hall was able to work with that, which is great. One thing that wasn't great, though, is refereeing decisions in the first half, because one of the major ones that seems to stick out to me is that good old that corner kick decision. So, as you can see here, that ball looks like it's over the line, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's like another ball's width over the line. Apparently, that's not a corner, because they didn't see it. Cool. I'd love that to work in real life. So does that mean if I was to, I don't know, run someone over with my car, but no one saw it? No one saw it. Maybe a camera saw it. That means I get away scot-free? Probably not. That was a very bad hyperbole, by the way. Don't take that as a gospel. Don't do anything like that. But yeah. So in that situation, I feel like VAR should have intervened, in my personal opinion. But VAR didn't. Even though VAR, its literal ruling is, VAR is used when a clear and obvious error is made, or a suspicion of clear and obvious error is made. So VAR are meant to be watching this entire game from multiple camera angles. How did they miss that? even when they did the replay, why didn't they wind it back and go, hang on, ref, check that on the screen? Or better yet, roll that back for a corner. Because we've lost an advantage and Leeds have gained an unfair advantage. Because the referee didn't see it and the linesman was half a mile away. Well, actually, no, apparently he was in the concourse going to get himself a hot dog and a drink. So, yeah. So, at the end of the first half, we basically soaked up all of Leeds' attack. Did really well about it. And in the second half, we came out guns blazing. So, we actually came out with an attack mind. In the second half, we were doing fairly well. Drewsbury Hall was pushing up a lot better. Illiman and Diane Alcaraz were doing the same. They were trying to actually get at their defence. Idrissa Gueye was hanging back a little bit. It'll burn him. Oh, Jesus Christ, it'll burn him, mate. Since he came back from his injury, the guy's he's become a bit of a loose cannon. I think he needs to try and settle it down a bit, wind it back a bit, and just intercept when necessary. Sorry, I've just sneezed my table. But the interceptions that he's been doing, he's been leaving them a little bit late and he got penalised as a result of it. Now, another one was Charlie Alcaraz as well. So he got fouled quite badly as well, but he turns around to the ref and did this, as if to say, where's the card? And as a result, he got a card for basically telling the ref how to do his job. Now, was it a card? I don't think so. It was a bit of a softish challenge, but the fact that he turned around and did this meant that he was getting a card as a result. You shouldn't really do that. It's a South American thing. I know that for a fact. You see them all the time. Richarlison used to be terrible for it. He used to get up. He's like, fucking hell. I mean, bloody Bruno Fernandes. He's just at every other minute. That guy's going to end up having bloody 5 or 6 yellow cards in the first 10 games just from that alone. So yeah, as the second half progressed, we just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to find holes. We had a few opportunities, but just the lack of first touch and just the lack of being able to provide for better in the right sort of way stopped us from really making their keeper have too much of an issue. He essentially could have had the deck chair out for a good part of it. As sad as it sounds, this is very un-David Moyes-esque when it comes to the style of play. This is just not the style of play Moyes has. His style of play is quite literally meant to be, you are tenacious, you guys are hungry, you guys are the dogs of war. That's the mentality that we are meant to have. But right now, we're basically toothless chihuahuas. We are running around like toothless chihuahuas, and it does need to improve severely. Now, when Jack Grealish came on, he actually was doing fairly well. Prior to that, though, we conceded the penalty. Now, I've had to look over it myself a few times before I came on here. I'm confused in all honesty, because the shot is deflected twice before it comes to James Tarkowski. And if I'm not mistaken, we've seen this in the past before, but his arm is here, and he's trying to do this. Now, granted, yes, it hits here, but he has got his arm straight down, and he's trying to push himself to get the chest onto it. He's making everything possible to not handball it. Yes, apparently that's a penalty, but McAllister basically trying to do a like for like for Diego Maradona. One of the Man City players a couple of seasons back. Apparently those aren't penalties though. I will go on about them. They are always going to be a thing whenever penalties like this get mentioned. It's always going to be them. But quite frankly, taking this out of the equation for a second, I don't think that's a penalty myself. If I was in Cavani's shoes, I wouldn't say that's a penalty. And I do think there's got to be a look into that, and I'll be interested to see what the referees union have to say about that. Are we going to hear oh, he made a mistake? Yeah, thanks, mate. That's a mistake that costs us a point. But yeah. Another thing to note as well, Jack Grealish, great up the left. The only thing is, at the moment, he's not. The other players aren't in sync to what he's doing on that left-hand side. It's going to take them a while to sort of understand what he is doing. I think Drewsbury Hall is going to be one of the first ones who's going to pick up on it. So what's going to happen is, when a ball goes through, what Jack likes to do. So let's say, for argument's sake, when James is going to put it up to him on that line, what you need is another player to basically be running straight ahead to get past him so he can make that progressive ball through. When it comes to Jack Grealish, he's a very progressive player. He'll either play it sideways or forwards. He's not someone who likes to go backwards. He's one of them. He's a very typical number 10 or even a left winger, but he does like that left-hand side. So Illiman and Dye is definitely going to be the one on the right in the future. And to be honest, I'm happy with that. Having a front three, well, let's say we had a front four of Jack Grealish, Drewsbury Hall, Dye, and Beto or Barry or Chimiti. I wouldn't complain about that in any way, shape, or form. It's a very promising front lot. And as time goes on and they actually get used to each other, know how each other plays and how to feed each other properly, it's going to be very exciting. I am still optimistic with this season ahead, but we really need to sort out these bloody decisions. And on top of that, we do really need to sort out our transfers and soon. The window closes on the 1st of September. I can't get my calendar up. I want to get my calendar up just so I could have a look. We've got about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. We're on the 16th now. So in about, what, 15 days. That's the 31st. So in about 15 days, that window is going to be coming to a close very quickly. Now, I don't want us to panic. I don't want us to be having another window where we go, okay, so we've just got Carlo Nash and Marouane Fellaini at the end of the window. I want us to basically go into that last day of the window and say, right, we've made 3 or 4 signings here. We've got our right back. We've got our right winger. We've got our centre mid. And, I don't know, another right winger. Can we get, I don't know, another centre half maybe. Another number 6 who can back up Idrissa Gueye, because I don't think Timmy Burnham's that at this point in time. And I don't think James Garner's going to be that at this point in time. So I want that. I want that for Everton. I want us to go into this new season. Now, as I said, for the first half of the season, well, not even the first half, I would say the first 5 to 10 home games of this season, playing at our stadium is going to feel like an away fixture. What I do want from the Evertonians is to be behind the squad all the way through. I don't care who we're playing. I don't care how we're playing. Just get behind the squad, because when you're behind that squad, it gives them that extra 10% boost. If they can hear us cheering Everton, if they can hear us screaming their names to fight and push on, that gives them that littlest bit more drive. It's a very slight adrenaline rush that they can get that will help them. It'll give them that extra yards. It'll give them that extra inch to just make that tackle, make that shot, make that pass, make that cross. So getting behind the squad, even if we're not doing amazing, it's the key thing for us to make this a lot easier for them while they're transitioning into this new stadium. But yeah, so overall, not a great result. I think this was a 0-0 game. A very, very lackadaisy sort of start for Everton. But to be honest, August always is for us. We always have a crap August. And then from September onwards, we sort of wind things into gear a bit. It's basically with a tinker. We are quite literally the toy soldier that when you wind it up, we're still cranking that dial before we let it go and it goes. So it's going to take us a little bit to get into it. But once we're into it, I do have full faith we will end up, I would say, 11th or higher. And that to me, I'm going to say 11th in a pessimistic sort of stance, 8th in an optimistic stance. So anywhere in between there, I think, is where we're going to be finishing this season, just based on the players we got at the moment. We do definitely need to bolster the squad, though. Definitely. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I understand it's not the best result. It's a result that we didn't want. And in all honesty, it's not a fair result. But hey, that's football for you in this bloody day and age, apparently. Apparently, I don't know what it is. The Premier League just hates Everton. It just feels that way, doesn't it? It does feel like Everton absolutely get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to anything coming from the referees or the Premier League. I know a lot of other teams will probably think the same. A lot of the Liverpool fans think the same. They think, oh, we won this league even though everyone was against us. Man U fans, I've heard it from them. I've heard it from the Arsenal fans. I've heard it from every single fan across the entire ladder. So there's something obviously wrong in the system that needs to be looked at. But that's for another video. So yeah, I'd like to say a big thank you to all my cup of coffee guys down here. If you want to be like these guys and help contribute to the channel and get your name in the banner down below, why not become a part of the cup of coffee tier here on the School of Science TV channel. It's only £1 a month, and that helps this channel massively, believe it or not. So this £1 a month is going to be going into things like hardware upgrades, software upgrades, peripherals, backdrops, memorabilia. I mean, bear in mind, these ones here, these have actually been inherited from me. So my granddad has actually given me, see these two here? So it's, let's have a quick look. It's The Talking Blue and Psychopath. Those books were given to me by my granddad, and they're a good read. I've really enjoyed reading them. What else is there? The Big Dump one I've just finished reading. Really good read. If you haven't got that book yet, definitely worth a read. But I digress. So yeah, so contributing to the channel in terms of peripherals, so the lights, the mic, hardware that's in my computer, the software that's in this computer, the paint that painted this wall, these memorabilia bits, you help contribute to these sorts of things. Now, in regards to the memorabilia bits, so the actual paintings that you've got across here, all them here, they were done by Rob, who runs the Forever Everton account on X. An absolutely amazing artist, makes some brilliant stuff. If you want to give him some support, please go there, go and do that by all means. His link will be in the description down below. So if you go and support him, I'm sure he will be massively grateful to that. But yeah, so what's going to be happening in the future for this channel? As I said, yeah, there will be potentials of matchday vlogs in the future where I'm going to try and talk to people as well. So we're going to be trying to basically do a very cheap rip-off of Arsenal Fan TV. If anyone's seen their stuff, it is absolutely hilarious. Where we're going to try and talk to you guys. So if you do see me out in and around the stadium, say hi, because chances are I might just get a little selfie with you, get a little video with you, and you'll be on the channel making a little feature. But in any case, guys, again, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone watching this. If you liked it, you know what to do. If you want to suggest anything, put it in the comment section down below. If you think the referee's a wanker, put it in the comment section below. And if you want to share this, by all means, share this with your friends, your family, anyone who you have who is a fellow Evertonian. But in any case, disappointing results. Thank you very much for watching. Let's not let this result get us down, because in about 5 days' time, we're going to be taking on Brighton in our brand new stadium. It's going to be the first game in the Premier League in that brand new stadium, and we are going to romp them. I promise you that. But yeah, so take care. Have a great one. Up the freaking toffees, and peace.